Yesterday I was playing around with my heavy plasma build on my heavy, and I gotta tell you, it made solo Ruthless like a hilarious cakewalk. Just bits and pieces of Xeno scum flying this way and that. It was like a 4th of July celebration where the confetti was made of Tyranid chunks. I had clears with over 1,000 kills, clears with over 50,000 range damage, and hilariously, kills with only 10 total melee damage. I know I've been singing the praises of the heavy plasma, and honestly, these could have been like 2,000 kill clears if I had the time, because, you know, at that point, you're just AFK farming next to ammo boxes and waiting on the wave timers to send you more fodder. It's just a matter of how much time you have to spend blowing up Tyranids. In fact, the Inferno clear you'll see in the background, I didn't go down once the whole time. I had 2 stims on me, 1 on a table nearby, and a relic, a Guardian relic on me as well, so I could have gone another hour if I had the time, but I still get comments all the time from folks who are struggling to stay alive in Ruthless Operations, whether it be solo or matchmade. So today, kind of wanted to share a bit about how to leverage this specific build in particular to cause some extreme mayhem and look like a boss doing it. You know, there are a lot of solo Ruthless videos out there, and I've made my fair share as well, and usually we're using classes that can manage the parry and dodge situation well, because inevitably in solo Ruthless Ops, you're going to get surrounded by majors, and they're all going to be, you know, doing their own combos with different timing and cadence, like the Bulbasaur Vine Whip 3-swing combo that can seriously mess you up if you get the timing wrong, or you get 2 of them attacking you with that same combo at the same time. You guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe one of them's behind you, so you have to like spin your camera around and try to manage all these different parries. Maybe you've got the heavy 2 swords over the head downward attack. There's just a lot that can go wrong. It can make a good run a bad run in no time flat. So most solo Ruthless builds out there are on classes that have access to fencing melee weapons that makes such encounters much more manageable. But with this heavy build, we're just going to fire a bunch of nukes into the crowd, right? Here on Ballistic Engine, you can see we even start the op with a crowd of majors. But just one fully charged heavy plasma shot takes them all down to near critical health. You know, a couple pistol shots later, and we have a conga line of majors ready to be beheaded. It's just dun 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 dun, decapitated, dun 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 dun, curb stomped. So the 3 things that can seriously take a solo Ruthless run are, first, crowds of majors, and we've got that one crossed off the list already with the heavy plasma incinerator. The second thing that ends runs is mismanagement of ammo economy, and that ties into the third and final major contributor to ruined runs, and that's heavy threats like Carnifexes, Hellbrutes, Neurothropes, and even some extremist enemies that might pin you down in the middle of a wave, like if you get 2 Zoanthropes in the middle of a heavy wave, a massive wave, and now you have to manage all these parrying attacks. You've got vines covering the ground, and now you've got 2 Zoanthropes floating around, shooting balls of green psionic energy at you. It can be a nightmare. So let's talk about those things next. But before we do, I think it's important to at least show you the perk selection on my heavy build, and also on the heavy plasma. So you can take a screenshot, you can replicate this if you want. Just know that I actually broke these perks down in great detail earlier this week in my video, You're Playing Heavy Wrong. So feel free to revisit that video. It's just a catchy title. I'm not trying to be judgmental, by the way. I know a lot of people are like, I can't play the game wrong, I bought it. It's just a title to get people to be interested in the video. That's all it is. But if you want to understand why we picked the perks that we picked, feel free to revisit that video. So let's chat about those 2 problems, right? Ammo management and high priority threats. So the first thing I do when I enter a new area is, I first ask, hey, where can ammo boxes spawn? And secondly, I ask, where can terminus enemies spawn? You know, some ammo crates are random spawns. They don't always appear in your run, but they very well may. I got lucky on this Inferno clear, for example, and I had a box spawn here just past the bridge in the first major section of the op leading up to the Cadian outpost. So I was able to bunker down and freely blast my way through the waves of enemies without worrying about ammo conservation. But before this point, I had been fairly conservative with my ammo usage just because there was a chance a terminus could spawn just before the bridge in 2 nearby locations. So once I got past those 2 spawn points and no terminus appeared, I knew I could cut loose a little bit. But sometimes there are loadout stations in set locations too that you can leverage. So when I came to the end of the Inferno operation, and I knew I was likely to get a terminus in the final area on the approach to the finale, because I hadn't gotten one yet, I was kind of fast and loose with my ammo. I didn't really care because I knew that loadout station was there. Sure enough, the Carnifex spawned, I dumped some charge shots into him just to cook some of his health, and then I just bolted straight to the bottom of the stairs where the loadout station was placed, and I refreshed my loadout for full ammo, and then just started blasting fully charged shots over and over and over again to clear the mobs. And eventually the Carnifex did try to charge me down. He fell into the bottom area where he was a bit of a sitting duck, fish in a barrel, and the heavy plasma just kind of cooked him. And that's what I want to talk about next regarding these big enemies. The heavy plasma can completely destroy these guys in a way other options for the heavy simply can't do. While the multi-melt is really good at ad clearing and stun locking majors, it kind of sucks against terminus enemies, to be honest. But the heavy plasma can bake these guys so incredibly fast. And if you're interested, I actually did do a full damage breakdown on primary weapons in the game this week, and I put that up on the channel as well. You may have even seen it on Reddit. There were some Reddit threads that shared my graphics, some Twitter threads that shared it as well. But the multi-melta, it does 56 damage to a Carnifex. Okay, 56 damage. And obviously that's per shot. The heavy plasma incinerator, the uncharged shot, does more than that, does 60. Not only that, but a charged heavy plasma shot does 269 damage to a Carnifex. 269. So, like one fully charged shot is going to do basically 5 times the damage of a multi-melta shot. It's kind of wild. So the heavy plasma can bake these guys so incredibly fast. You can see the chunks of health just plummeting. And it's even better, obviously, if one of your bot teammates ends up being a tactical and they put the scan on him. Personally, I think the Neurothrope is actually way easier than the Carnifex. His attacks are much more easily telegraphed and read. But the Carnifex also has a tendency to be a massive derp face and do silly things too, like get stuck or run off the map, stuff like that. In fact, I thought about doing a video series on breaking down the complete movesets for every terminus enemy in the game and giving strategy guides of sorts for taking them down efficiently while minimizing incoming damage. So let me know in the comments if that sounds like a good idea, or if you think, nah, I've got them pretty well down at this point. It might be unnecessary. Just let me know what you think. The last thing I really want to chat about is knowing how to activate your buffs. So for example, I know that I'm going to be getting a 15% damage buff to my my primary weapon when my Iron Halo is cooling down. So I want to make sure that I get that activated and get it cooling down so that I can more reliably one-hit bigger enemies with charged shots. I also know that 10 rapid kills will give me an armor charge for free with a 30-second cooldown. So keeping track of all those things can be kind of tedious since the game doesn't actually, like in the UI, show you visual feedback for things like that. You don't know if they're in cooldown, you don't know if they're ready to go, or if what your progress towards activating the buff looks like. So you have to sort of train your brain to think about those things in the background of your mind while you're doing combat. But that does help you plan your course of action, your course of attack better when you're mindful of such things. And that's really my whole approach to using this build in Solo Ruthless. But I really can't recommend the build enough. When I'm queuing randomly or with friends, this build always has me sitting comfortably on top of total kills and ranged damage dealt. It's an absolute powerhouse and will treat you well, I'm very sure. So definitely give it a shot, and if you're in our private Discord, definitely use it for a clear and post a screenshot in the Discord so I can see how well you put it to use as well. Thanks so much for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like on the video, as that is the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. And also consider subscribing for additional Space Marine 2 content. We should have some fun content on the horizon because very soon now we should be getting the new operation, new updates. There's going to be more stuff to cover as well. And we've got a great content roadmap ahead of us for this game. So I'm waiting in eager anticipation, but in the meantime, I still have plenty of videos planned out to make. And if you ever have recommendations for videos that you would like to see, some of the videos that I've made have come directly from YouTube commenters who are like, hey, I would love to see this, or I'd love to learn your thoughts on this, or I'd love to learn how to use this thing. So feel free to make some recommendations in the comments section. I do read all of those, for better or worse. Some of those comments are really helpful. Some of them offer great feedback, and some of them make me feel like I just got kicked in the teeth by a donkey. Also, if you're looking for a great community that is actively playing this game, we have our own private Discord community with LFG, general chat, voice chat rooms for squads that are forming up, and it's pretty heavily populated at this point. A lot of people running at all times of the day. So if you want to get involved in a community that's constantly playing the game, can help you alleviate the pressures of random matchmaking. Because how many of you guys have experienced the thing I experienced, where it's like, well, I just want to level this thing up right now. And then you go through like 3 queues, 3 different lobbies where you go through a loading screen, you join the lobby, somebody's already on that class, they refuse to change because they're probably doing the same thing too. So you just end up leaving, you re-queue, it happens again, or maybe you get a bad mission that you're not in the mood to play, all that stuff. You can bypass all of those problems by having a community to pull from, where you can just post in the LFG and just say, hey, I'm on my heavy, I'm trying to level up the plasma. Anyone down to farm some substantial with me right now, or Ruthless with me right now? It's a great way to get involved. But if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can check the link in the description or the pinned comment to our Patreon page, and just that super cheap $3 tier will get you access to our private Discord and our nice little group that we got going on there. Thanks again for watching the video today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Be warm and well fed, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Courage and honor, brothers. Bye-bye.